Why are you laughing?
I don't know. Do the honors.
Hello, welcome to our podcast, All Things Grae. We are the Graes.
What's up, y'all? So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We have made it a
full week
into this
the
new
new
year.
year. Classic Grae fashion. We are showing up a little bit late to talk about something that happened 7 years ago. It's a new year. It's 2023.
2023. Anything fun happened in the first week of the new year that we want to talk about?
We made it.
We made it. We made it a full week, and we're actually I'm looking forward to this year because we're gonna focus on some consistency. Mm-hmm. So we would like to go ahead and announce that you will be getting a new episode from us every Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I almost said Monday.
Did you forget what day that we chose? We were gonna do Mondays.
I'm gonna write this down so we don't forget.
No one wants to listen to a podcast on Monday.
Mondays are meh. Tuesdays are good.
I feel like Tuesday is a good. It's like, all right, we made it through Monday. Now I can breathe.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, I feel like Tuesday's a good day.
Tuesday's a great day for a podcast.
We also don't want to do Wednesday because our good friends, shout out Emily and CJ, just launched their podcast. Check them out. It's called Let Us Pray.
Like the vegetable.
Let Us Pray. And they're hilarious. So
you'll love them and they'll remain in your heart. Okay, anyway.
You didn't promise you weren't going to say that.
I didn't.
So that's fair.
Yeah, so this episode, we are going to look back at 2022 and see like what things went well, what things could have gone better, what are we looking forward to in 2023, and, you know, just soak it all in, soak in all the goodness.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I feel like there were a lot of good moments, but there were more rough.
It was a medium year, a little bit of both. It was a fast year. I feel like the year flew by so quickly. Like I hardly had time to get any traction in any month before it was the next month.
Yeah, no, honestly, there was a lot of good stuff that happened, and we'll talk about it. Cassie did such a good job with the notes that we have here.
We're trying to outline our episodes so they're not an hour long, and this recap is told to you by my camera roll because I don't remember what happened in every month, so I just like went through and we'll show them somewhere. But yeah. Do you remember much from like chronological order of the year? No.
Cassie, I don't even know what we had for breakfast 45 minutes ago. Okay. And I'm looking right at it.
So I will say we started off 2022 pretty cool in that we wrote a song on the second day. Yes. Which we also did that this year.
We actually did that this year too. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, we wrote a song.
We're on a roll, baby. Let's go.
That we thought we were going to release. Didn't, but...
So the ups and downs. We wrote a song. We did nothing with it. So.
No, I mean, we did a lot with it in regards to like production, and we got a good project out of it. It just hasn't been released because we wanted to release it well, and it's a sentimental song for my late grandfather. And we had, is this where we had Joni do strings on it?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Shout out Joni Fuller.
Joni Fuller, she's our beautiful strings player in the UK. So she did some of that. And then, yeah, and this was also one that like I had to go back to PA and get the picture for the album artwork. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, when are we going to release it? And then all of life just kind of shook up in a little soda can.
I'll be honest. I feel like that is partially my fault. Sorry, we have a new cat.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to say it.
They're currently fighting. And
no, they're playing. They're wrestling.
We can call it that.
Each other off the ledge of the couch.
We can call it whatever we want.
They're like jousting.
But if we ever look off camera, that's probably what we're looking at.
Or if you hear snags, it's our couch.
Yeah. R.I.P. the couches.
Yeah.
So I feel like us not releasing that song is partially my fault. I did drag my feet a little bit, but it was for a good reason.
Yeah.
That song has so much weight to it that I was struggling.
We want to release it well, and there's just so many things that we still I think need to do with it. And music is an investment and time.
But not even that. I think it was just more so like what you said first. Like we want to release it well. I think that we wrote a really, really beautiful song. And where we are in our career right now, I know all of the experts and all of the music people will say, release what you have. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Bless you.
I tried to pause it so we could edit that out.
I'm not going to edit that out. We'll keep that in. It's real life here. But all of the all the music experts, all the people in the industry will say like, when you have a good song, release it. Doesn't matter if you have like a huge audience or small audience. And I just really want people to hear this song. So I'm like, man, I want to grow just a little bit more before we, throw something that personal and something that's that close to the chest.
And we're really developing our sound. I think this fits in with our newer developed sound than some of our other things.
Cool. All right. What's next?
Also, this is the first year, or I guess, time. In February, we released our first single from a different state because I was back in PA for my cousin's bridal shower.
You mean like we were in separate states
when one of our songs released, and that was Deep.
Yes.
And then that was also like the week before the premiere. We're great at time. We filmed the music video in a park.
I'm not even going to call that a music video.
It was just like
it was a lyric video.
What was it called? What's it called on Spotify where it moves?
Canvas.
The canvas. Yeah. We filmed the canvas. We got off work early and we're like, we need to go run around in a park. And people were like running by with their dogs, like watching us be dramatic. And all we had to like listen to the song with was our phones.
It was pretty rough.
Such a humbling moment, but good time. Also in my camera roll, it shows that we went to Charleston for the first time, which was really cool. Charleston's beautiful. I loved it.
So Cassie's been wanting to, travel a little bit more. And for her birthday last year, I figured it'd be cool to do like a weekend.
Yeah, he surprised me.
Stay in Charleston, South Carolina, which, yes, absolutely
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Got a tattoo. And then for my birthday, we bought CJ a motorcycle.
You say that, and it sounds so bad. But, yes.
I think it's funny.
I mean, going back to Charleston, we did a lot of cool things. I think my favorite thing was going to Vicious Biscuit for the first time. That place is nuts. If we just got one here in Wilmington, and if you've never heard of it before, it's called Vicious Biscuit. It's pretty much what it sounds like. They're very aggressive biscuits. Extremely aggressive biscuits. And they were delicious.
It's a restaurant.
I didn't say that, did I?
No, just aggressive biscuits.
I assumed the biscuits made it so that it's an eating place, but yes.
Yeah, and their t-shirts say Body by Biscuit because you literally walk out there feeling like you're just going to roll away. You feel
incredible.
Pretty full.
And I'm honestly pretty upset that we have not...
I know. Well, we tried to go and the line was literally out the door, and I don't have that kind of patience.
No, Cassie needs a snack while our snack's being made. So.
And then we were really on the roll the first quarter. I was in Virginia Beach for that same cousin's bridal shower's bachelorette weekend, and that is the month that we released 4-Leaf Clover.
March, yeah. Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish, and we did that. We did no one ever saw. I think there was one picture that we posted. We did a small 4-Leaf Clover photo shoot in our studio.
Oh yeah.
We thought we were going to use that for like the whole thing, and then it was like not the vision that we had in mind. So we contacted our photographer. Shout out to Billy Logan. He always makes us look 10
way
times cooler than
we actually are.
He's a gem. I love that man. He's just so much fun to work with. So we called him and did that photo shoot that month, which was fun.
That was fun. That was a good time.
Now, April. Do you remember anything from April?
Looking at the notes.
Oh shoot! Dang it! But before you looked at the notes, did you remember anything?
No.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. I do remember.
I didn't remember it was in April.
I remember it was in April because that was a very, very big highlight.
Well, we brought up Grae Sessions back to life.
Yes.
And that's when we started doing those covers. And then
we released Ghost by Justin Bieber, and before that we did Tate McRae cover of You Broke Me First, which is about to hit 1,000 streams on Spotify.
Look at us
and
go.
We promoted that 0%.
0%. Yeah, we're not.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, we're not super consistent on promoting things like that.
We're not super consistent.
Yeah,
hard stop.
Hard stop. The thing that we are consistent on is being inconsistent, and that is just not great for us as humans. But we're trying.
Are we? This year we are. Shout out 2023. We doing this right, baby. Let's go.
Yee. And then this is the big part. You want to tell them?
So Cassie surprised me with, and this was for Valentine. No.
What's in April?
Oh yes, it's our 1 year. It was our at that point what? 3-year dating anniversary is when we started dating. April 13th of 2019, and Cassie surprised me with. By the way, take notes, gentlemen. Know the dates. Cassie surprised me with Johnny Swim tickets.
Yes.
Which was freaking awesome because Johnny Swim has been like huge inspiration for our band. They're obviously a married folk pop Celtic duo, and they're really, really talented, and we've always looked up to them as artists. And I've always wanted to see them live. I actually didn't even know they existed until I met Cassie. She's the one who kind of turned me on to their music, and I love their sound, love their vibe. And we got to see them live for the first time, and it was an incredible show.
So much fun. I mean, we talked a lot about wanting to go see other artists. We were always like, oh, before we have kids one day or before we do something else, we would love to go see this person in concert and that person in concert. And we just had like a running list, but never like went and looked at artist websites and we're like, can we go to a show? And I'm like, you know what? Gosh dang it, I'm going to do it.
Gosh dang it.
It's our 3 year. We're just going to go have fun. We're going to make ourselves do things that we want to do. And I found tickets, bought them when I was at work. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to do it and we're going to have fun. And it was so much fun. We got the, Ticketmaster really gets you. They promoted me with all these like, do you want the insurance on your ticket? And do you want the fast pass? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? So like, $30 tickets were not $30 anymore, but I'm glad we got it because we were in the fast pass lane or whatever it's called. That's like Walt Disney World or something. But we were in the fast pass lane, and so we were literally like the third people into the venue. So we were all the way up front, like at the bar, at the stage. And that was cool because in the middle of like one of the sets, Abner.
Let me tell.
Okay.
This is my favorite story ever. I knew you were going to do it. I was like, don't you dare.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Dare.
Abner did nothing. He did nothing at all.
So, again, we're huge fans. And we were up in the front row. We actually, real quick, met some really awesome people. We met Catherine Church, who also has a podcast
called Church Talk. We were on her podcast.
Yes, check her out. Shout out to you. Kat is awesome.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, because hopefully she's watching this. Shout out to you and all. But we got into the front row or whatever, kind of, you go to concerts, you shimmy your way up to the front.
Benefits of being short.
And benefits of just, being aggressive. We got to the front and, the show's going on and it's super cool. And Abner kind of makes a shout out to all of the online friends that Johnny Swim made during COVID. They did a lot of cool stuff like Songs with Strangers, where they would pick a random follower and write a full on song, and they did like a whole album with it. So they really got in touch with their like fan base online, which you thought was super cool. And we had kind of started our band around the same time that COVID was going on. And so, we were posting a lot of covers. We were, sharing a lot. We had a hashtag floating around, the Grae's open for Johnny Swim, something like that. So anyway, through all of that, I guess we kind of got on their radar in like a tiny little 1% way. And he gave us a little shout out at the beginning of the show. And he was just like, shout out to the Graes. Shout out to the Graes, pointing down at us, which was super cool because everyone around us kind of got a little starstruck, which was cool for us. And then,
but before that,
no, this was after. So he kind of did the little shout out before. Oh no, I know what you're saying. Okay, when
that's
he just
what I was getting to.
Yeah. So during one of their songs, he was playing and he kind of looked down and he goes, "You guys are the Graes." As he's in the middle of one of his songs,
off mic, he just like made eye contact.
He's playing the super cool guitar part, and he kind of looks down and his eyes get wide and he points down. He's like, "You guys are the Graes." And Cassie immediately started crying.
I was like, we are, but how do you know that? And I turned around, I was like, he knew us.
It was super cool. And then after that is when he, shouted out, the online friends they made and included us. And then the third thing was at the end, they're encore, they're, doing their little crash out ending and everything like that. And he's chucking picks out into the crowd. Everyone's going wild. It's their last song. They get in line, they bow, and then he comes down as the outro's playing, and they're shaking hands with everyone. And he looks at me, he turns around, he walks back to the stage, grabs his set list, and as he's trying to hand it to me, people are trying to grab it, and he kind of stops them and hands it to me and says, "Your music is fire," and then continue to go. And I stood there in complete awestruck shock, like,
we were so
what just happened? That was absolutely insane. And I got it on video. I mean, there's a lot of screaming going on, everything like that. I'll see if I can piece that in here, but him handing me the thing, I'm shaking, everything's kind of going crazy. These are just human beings, but when you have someone that you look up to like that, kind of validate what you've been doing, all of the failures, all of the hard times kind of go away for a second. You really get to enjoy, like, man, being seen.
And really, not even just like a stardom fandom thing, but just like respecting them as humans and as people who do the same hustle and grind. Like, it's just cool that they see us in a pool of millions of people who also talk to them. But then also just like recognize that we're trying and that it's not bad-ish. Horrible, not bad.
We're not horrible.
Yeah, and also that same week, that was like a cool week for us.
Hold on, before you jump to that real quick, just want to shout out Caitlin Tarver because she was the opener for that show. And we got to meet her and talk with her.
Sweet
super
girl.
Beautiful, sweet girl. Like really down to earth. Gonna be a huge artist one day.
I'm forever addicted to her song "Out of Excuses."
"Out of Excuses" is a very good one. She's got a ton of good ones.
My jam.
We're doing a lot of shout outs today. We'll try to plug some of these people's like pages and stuff like that in the description of whatever y'all are watching this on. But
show notes. We'll make show notes maybe this year. I don't know.
But Caitlin Tarver, definitely check her out. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then that same week of being fun, we were just
Here comes more
extra
shout-outs.
fun. We were just extra fun. So CJ made a connection with Johnny Swim's one drummer, Devin Von Balson.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Wasn't confident in that. And
shout out Devin.
He connected with him on Instagram back during their Songs of Strangers time because he was one of the drummers for a few of their songs. And then Devin moved to a different band called Flip Turn.
Shout out Flip Turn.
Shout
Those
out to
guys
Flip
are
Turn.
nuts,
We need to make a running list. Okay, we're gonna forget someone.
Those dudes are absolutely
So
insane.
freaking good. They're like early 20s. The coolest.
Not
so
even.
talented.
I feel like some of them are at mid to late 20s. I think.
Oh.
Yeah,
snap.
they're just making a ton of noise.
They're just so energetic and talented. But
yeah.
So we saw that they were coming to Wilmington, and we just messaged them like, "Hey, saw you're gonna be in town." So like we didn't know they were gonna be in Wilmington until the day before.
But we were leaving the movie theater.
Yeah,
I forget what movie we went and saw, but we were leaving, and I just happened to see Flip Turn's going to be at Greenfield Lake Amphitheater in Wilmington. I was like,
and we're like, what? Crap! Sorry, we didn't know. We would have totally gotten tickets. And he's like, that's okay. We'll put you on the guest list.
That was awesome.
And we're like, oh, okay.
And they were opening for
that's interesting.
Mountain Joy.
Mountain Joy, which we also love.
Shout
Mountain
out
Joy.
Mountain Joy.
So it was just like three of our bands just collided into we collided into their world all within 7 days. And by the end of it, I was so socially burnt out. I was like, I'm done. But that was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. We had said that we wanted to be more social. We wanted to go to more events and things like that. And it's hard to find that line because we're obviously trying to make music and we're trying to be creatives. And so we spend most of our time doing stuff like this. They're in the studio recording or writing. So to be able to get out and like see people do what we love to do was an incredible week. I mean, that was awesome. And
it was cool. 2 different concert experiences. One, like Johnny Sim was very loud but listening focused, I think, or at least where I was standing, like it wasn't too insane. And then at the Mountain Joy and Flip Turn one, we were also
Mountain Joy, or
I don't know what I just said. I think I meant to say Mountain Joy. I'm not sure what came out. Mountain Joy and Flip Turn, we were also at the front for that one. And there
was no better way to do it, y'all.
Front row. My gosh, just loud outside amphitheater, and then beers being thrown in the air everywhere. I'm like, this is another type of living that I've never done. So cool.
So much fun.
Yeah. And then moving on into the year.
Yeah.
This was the first time we did a performance at a local singer-songwriter showcase called Voice in the Pen. Wow, this is just
shout out Voice in the Pen.
This is an episode of shout outs. Look at us.
Shout out Voice in the Pen. Emily Burdett and her crew. Awesome people.
Yeah, Emily Burdett's a local musician. She was actually the first musician that we found on Facebook, stalked, and met.
We did stalk.
We have issues. The week we moved down here was our honeymoon because we didn't have a place to go because of COVID. And kitties, be nice.
I can hear Mello hissing.
Yeah, Mello's like, ha. And we went to a restaurant and she was playing at that restaurant and we just like slow danced to her playing.
She's so good.
She's very good. Yeah. Very, very good. And then we connected with her. She started a singer-songwriter showcase for just local artists to come out and play local places and play their original music. So we did that for the first time in May.
That was a lot of fun too. So real quick, I know we're kind of on a time crunch. We want to get through all of these. We obviously have been playing a ton of like bar gigs and like, those 3-hour long gigs, which we love. We love doing those gigs because we meet a lot of people. We get to play a ton of music. It's a little bit on our bodies and a little bit on our like voices, my hands on guitar. But Emily Burdett really like gave us the first singer-songwriter showcase where we were able to play 3 or 4 of the music we wrote that we believe in, that we want people to hear. And it was in a room where people were listening to us. It wasn't background music for a bar. It wasn't, party
music. Which is all of what Voice in the Pen is for.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that vibe.
She's also the first one who gave us a chance behind a mic here because we went to see her at one of her bar gigs. And she's like, hey, I just met the Graes and you want to come sing a song? And we're like, sure. So she has been very pivotal in our life.
She really
and
has.
She's a really, really nice person. So if you
shout out Emily Burdett.
Are down here and want to connect with her, I'm sure.
And if you are a bar, music venue, or anything like that needs artists, check her out. And if you need, multiple artists, I know she's got a running list.
She's got a bunch of connections.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to her.
Also in May, that same cousin who I had the bridal shower and the bachelorette for, who got married this month of this last year, 2022. That was fun. Went back to PA for that. And then we also got to film a commercial this year.
That's right.
Which was...
Some of you guys have seen it and have texted screenshots to me of it, and yes. I appreciate it.
Which is crazy because all of the film opportunities we've had so far, we never auditioned for. Like, I don't do that actor profile stuff, but it's just come to us, which has been such a fun blessing.
People like us.
He got a text message from a casting director like the day before. I was like, hey, you want to be in a commercial? And we're like, sure. So we just texted our bosses like, hey, can we go be in a commercial on this day? Like, yeah, sounds like fun. So we filmed in a local neighborhood, and it was like a 13-hour day in the blazing hot summer. And we were just wearing blue and yellow.
It was for a Twisted Tea commercial.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to say it. Just blue and yellow for fun. No, it's a Twisted Tea commercial. So that was super cool. And then CJ was originally supposed to be a background person. And then the director was like, I really like him. Let's put him in the front. And I'm like, that sounds like my guy. And I found out because we were separate for most of the day. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, they made CJ the main dude. I was like, that sounds about right. He's very good with getting people's attention.
So I got to play TNT by AC/DC for about 13 hours on screen in some cutoff. So I guess jorts were, I guess, the technical term.
But it wasn't even jean material.
They weren't jeans.
It was like
khaki. No, it was like slacks. It was like a slack feel. They cut those into shorts. And then I wore like a suit jacket, blue dress shirt with this I took the tie off and did open collar.
Yeah.
And then these really cool like
banana yellow blazer.
Yellow blazer, and then these like Elton John glasses, which was freaking awesome. And then I got to play this I think it was a Gibson SG or an Epiphone SG that was like yellow that had a Twisted Tea sticker on it, which was super cool. It was
so cool. I was also in it. People don't ever see me because I'm a blurry blob in the background, which I'm totally fine with. But it was just fun. I mean, they had like yellow and blue smoke bombs for a lot of the scenes. And it's funny because after the shoot, like I was just blowing my nose constantly and it was like blue and yellow.
Yeah, I was going to say there's one scene where I'm doing like the little Running Man while I'm playing the guitar. And they literally shot one of those cannons from below right up into me. And I'm pretty sure that I could see blue like in my head, like I saw blue and then my eyes.
And they smell so bad, so like you can't see, you can't breathe, and you're like, you have to look happy on camera. And we're like,
most of everyone was in pain, so there's that. But that was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun. I
really do appreciate all of the pictures that were sent of I think it aired on ESPN College Football, and so during all of the different bowl games and things like that. It was all over the place. New Year's Eve was the most that I think I've
we had
seen.
no idea when it was coming out. We just like randomly saw CJ's face on the TV.
So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Shout out to you.
And then really quick, June, we went back to Voice in the Pen for the first time for like a listening room performance because the first Voice in the Pen, it's designed to be a listening room, but they have it in sometimes just like local bars, so there's not really a restriction to not talk. But this time they had it in a venue that is known as a listening room, so you're not supposed to talk.
Shout out Live at Ted's.
Live at Ted's. They are incredible. We'll be
bringing them up here in a little bit again.
Yes. And then we finally took our first vacation.
Yes, we did.
Which was at a lake with my family. So much fun. CJ, being CJ, learned to water ski and kneeboard, and that's great for him. I loved it for him.
I wakeboarded for the. I did water skis, wakeboarding. I didn't kneeboard. We talked about kneeboarding, but I didn't.
I really don't know the difference.
Yeah, so I water skied and wakeboarded for the first time, which was exhilarating.
And then we bought our first pair of skis. I found them from a friend. Yeah. Very good deal. And then June was CJ's first Father's Day as a cat dad. Very exciting. Ooh. That's a great accomplishment. Kept the cat alive.
Yay.
And then July was a big month in the fact that we went to Charlotte for the first time and did our first open mic in Charlotte.
Yes. You said for the first time, and that threw me off. We went to Charlotte and did our first open mic.
In Charlotte, it was our first open mic, which was super fun.
Yeah.
But then even bigger, tell them what you started in July.
Started a media company. Full time. I've been doing photography for about 3-4 years. And a side hobby, freelance, just weekends and evenings. And I got to the point where it was kind of time to take the next step. I was laid off from my job, or let go, I should probably say. And it was a perfect opportunity for me to delve into something new. And so started Grae Images full time, and it's been doing it.
You have been. CJ is like one of the strongest workers, go-getters. He really is a figure it out kind of man. He's like super talented. He's great with his clients. He's great with people. Like he's like the complete opposite of me in every single area that you need to run a business.
That's not true.
And that's why it's so successful. No, like I don't like being around people a lot. I get overwhelmed. I'm not always like, I don't know. I don't have that figure out personality the same way you do. And I don't have the courage, I don't think, to start a business the way you do. So like, because it's not like I do lettering and I have another job as a cushion. Like this was your main one and it like had to work.
Yeah, I feel like let's talk about that for a quick sec. I feel like when you're in a position to where something has to work, we've talked about this with music. Like if we were to just quit our jobs,
we would make it work.
And be like, we literally have to make music work or we're gonna die. Like we would figure it out. Yeah. So I feel like there's a certain level to where, it would have been easy for me to go get another job, but working for people, has its pros and cons. And, my philosophy has always been, if I'm in a position to where I can bring wealth to our family and not necessarily continuously just, funnel it to someone else, I would do that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being an employee. I feel like there's definitely the pros and cons. Benefits and things like that are always a huge pro for that. But I think for me, it was, all right, we're in a position to where we can do this. You were working full time at that time. And I was like, you know what? Why not? If we don't do it now, and that's my philosophy. Yeah. Like, if I don't do it now, when will you? When will I do it? And then it may never happen. Do it. Now's the time to do it. She's just playing with the. I thought
she was scratching the wrong furniture.
No, she's good. She's doing good.
Sorry, cat problems. And then no, it's just cool because I remember like 2 years ago, he's like, I think I want to try photography, and I was like, okay. And now here he is, like learning so many things, and I'm like, okay, that's very professional of you. But then in July, also, you had the cool opportunity to play with someone.
Shout out from Austin, Georgia.
Man, this is a lot of people. So our drummer for the Graes, Mika.
She's literally scratching the scratch post.
Oh,
she's getting in trouble for doing what she's supposed to do.
Continue. Sorry, girl. Our drummer for the Graes, his name is CJ, and he is a full-time drummer, so he drums for multiple people. And one of those is Austin Giorgio. He was on season 14 of The Voice, and he was looking for a guitarist. And so that CJ asked this CJ if he would be the guitarist. And that was super cool because he got to play at a venue that we've been wanting to get into in Charlotte called Evening Muse.
Shout out Evening Muse. They are super cool. Like the crew there is really cool. I'm mostly upset that I have to watch this entire video back to find out who we shouted out. So that
we can do it. We can totally do this. If we forgot anyone, I'm really sorry. We will probably have to watch this, but I think we can do it. So that was fun. We don't watch our own content. And then Austin was like, you want to play a song at the show? So we did that. Oh, that's right. We got to play, what did we play? Figure It Out? Figure It Out. And the funny thing about that is, so he asked us if we wanted to play. We're like, sure. And CJ, our drummer, we met him in person for the first time that night. So we hired CJ as our drummer now. Months going on ago. It was at least a year ago at that point. Yeah, probably a year ago. And we only met him and his wife on Zoom. And so whenever Austin reached out to us, or when Austin asked us to play, CJ reached out to me and he's just like, hey, I know, we haven't played together yet, even though we hired him as a Grae drummer. We haven't played together yet, but we have the chance to play together with Austin. And so when we came up there to play Figure It Out, CJ got to play with us. And for the first time, we're like, do you remember that song that we wrote? Okay, we're going to do that one. Never rehearsed or anything like that. Never rehearsed, never played together live until like the performance. CJs, we just know what we're doing. CJs. Shout out to the CJs. No rehearsal, nailed it. We know what we're doing. And then moving into the craziness of our life in August. Yeah. From June to August, it was just a big whirlwind. I'll take this one. So August. All right. So August. August was a pretty fun month. We moved. So the house that we're currently in now is our first townhouse together. We were in an apartment for 2 years, and we moved to the other side of town into our first townhouse, which has been awesome. It's a lot of space, but we love it. It's pretty cool. I've got a grill and a smoker out back. Hate moving. Yeah, there's that. I don't mind moving. It doesn't bother me as much. Moving the couch sucked, but that was fun. And she put on here, we moved, again, LOL. Yes. Our friends Megan and Trey visited. Shout out to Megan and Trey. Some of my best friends from back home came to visit. Yeah. Cassie's grandmother turned 90. That girl was unstoppable. Which was such a fun party. So fun. The whole family got together and it was a surprise party, but my grandma was early to everything. So I think we even planned it knowing she was going to be early, but she was even earlier than that. So she walked in and like not everyone was there. We were like, surprise. She's so chill. She's just like,
oh, you guys. Like, it was such a fun time.
So yeah, grandma turned 90.
They did a photo shoot for her. I'll drop some photos of that here that were super fun. And then my brother had his first baby, Landon.
With his wife.
Yeah, well, I like to say Zach had the baby, but Allison technically had the baby. So my brother and sister-in-law had their first kid.
So when we went up for the birthday party, we also happened to meet the kid because they were all within the same week.
Yes.
So that was good timing.
That was very good timing. So yeah, August was full of a lot of family and friends. We love that.
So it was September because September, all the parents came to us then.
Oh my goodness.
So my mom came down for a week.
Which was wild because we had just seen all of your family, and then the next week your mom came into town.
Right.
Which was so cool.
Because it was already planned for them to come down in September for like a year, and then everyone decided to get older and have a baby. So we're like, we'll see you again the month before.
Yeah.
But my mom came down for a week and just visit because we didn't really get to do that when we were back for the weddings and for all these family events. Not much time was spent together.
Yeah.
And then
shout out mom.
Shout out my mom. And then CJ's parents came down. They have been on the road full time. They sold their house like a year and a half ago, probably now. I don't know. And
even more than that, I feel like.
They
at this point.
hit the road full time in their fifth wheel and have been traveling the country, which
shout out my mom and dad.
Everyone we tell that to, they're like, that is my dream life. That is
and they are back on the road. So they came and stayed for a while through Christmas and New Year's, and they just hit the road and their
grandkids.
Yep. I think
and now they're back
in
out.
Texas. They're back down to Texas.
So
shout out mom and dad. Love
that's
you guys.
been cool. And it's funny because when both set of parents were here, we were making Grae merch. And my mom watched us struggle make Grae merch with our lousy iron. And then his parents saw us struggling. And so for Christmas, they both bought us heat presses. And I think that is so funny because no one talked to each other. No one even like asked us if we wanted that. It was just the product of both parents being in town weeks back to back and seeing us struggle. So now our merchandise making will be a lot faster.
Heck yeah. Shout out mom and dad and mom.
So thank you guys.
Appreciate y'all. All right. And then 2-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. We had our 2-year anniversary. Yeah. And also, while your parents were in town, we had our second show and second sold out So Far Raleigh show.
Shout out So Far Sounds.
So Far Sounds. That was so much fun.
Toby
and it was cool.
And
your parents got to be there.
Yes.
And it was cool because we sang some songs about like our upbringing and like CJ being adopted and in foster care. And one of the people who were at the show went over to CJ's mom and was like, I love that you did this. And I'm also a foster mom. And like hearing your success story and just like how it's played out is like giving me hope to continue being a foster mom. So that was super cool.
Love that. September was definitely full of hearts, love. October, so we launched the podcast again because I feel like we started it and then we just like stopped. Super consistent at being inconsistent. And then we played Celebration, which we talked about in episode 2, the last episode. So we won't go into details about that. Obviously, it was a great time. And then we got to spend some quality time with some good friends of ours at Carowinds in Charlotte. Shout out Morgan and Hayden. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. That made it
into the review because CJ has not been to an amusement park in the almost 4 years we've been together, and he's an adrenaline junkie, and I'm like a not adrenaline junkie.
And this is something for you dudes. Compromise is key, okay? Like Cassie does not like adrenaline. She doesn't like. She can't.
I don't like my feet off the ground. I can't. My body can't differentiate adrenaline from anxiety, so I'm just like
which is
the entire
wild
time.
To me.
So I'm like shaking. I'm sweating from my hands, and like I'm about to pass out.
I can't fathom what that must feel like because for me, I thrive on adrenaline. Like I'm fueled by heights. I love this stuff.
Oh my gosh, no! I don't even like standing on a skateboard. Like
I know that she. I always say that her vertical is a credit card laying flat. So, but she does not like those things, and so although I've expressed wanting to go to an amusement park, I know that if we went, it wouldn't be as fun for her. So since we've been together since 2019. We just haven't gone.
And I talked with Hayden like a couple weeks before his birthday. I was like, I want to take CJ to an amusement park because he hasn't done that for years, and I want that to be his birthday present. The thing is, all of our parents are going to be in town for like 2 weeks, so we'll do it later. We ended up going during Scarowinds, which I knew was going to be a better surprise because he loves Halloween.
Halloween's my favorite holiday.
And so, wife of the year for those two things. And then I rode all the rides except for like maybe 3. I don't know.
Which is really impressive.
Which is very impressive for me because I hate it. I hated every single one of them. But the one I hated the most is the something 325 or 520 or Fury 320 or something. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't know why I thought 320 meant like degrees. But it actually means how far in the sky you are. So you're like 320 feet in the air and you drop 320 feet or 25 feet.
Y'all.
And my soul left me.
Her face when we came to a stop, you would have thought that someone just punted her cat across the freaking yard or something, because she was pissed.
Well, Hayden and I were both apprehensive to get on it because I have motion sickness too. And not too bad like on a boat or anything, but like this kind of stuff, I don't do well. And Hayden and I were a little apprehensive. We also just ate lunch. And I was like...
Well, it also doesn't help that I'm, again, can't stress this enough, I'm an adrenaline junkie. So the very first ride, we did the Intimidator 305. We
Dumbest
did that
ride.
Amazing ride. Shout out Dave. We did that ride first, and I made Hayden sit in the front row with me. Big mistake for him. Oh God, it was so much fun.
Let's talk about that one though too, because it's red, which means scary. And then two, the seats don't have like a seat. It's just like, it's like a stool. You have a thing underneath your seat and that's it. There's no armrest. There's nothing. There's just a thing in front. And you're like,
that's the best way to do it.
I don't trust this ride to hold me in when all I'm sitting on is a little platform. There was no walls. There was like two here, two here. It was in and out, stressful ride. But then the 325 was also sucky.
If it's my time to go,
it's your time to go.
It's my time to go. It wasn't my time to
go though, because
exactly. It's that you survived.
Obviously, but like it was like you could hear the click, 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 click. I was like, oh, cool. And like the falling feeling, I hate the falling feeling.
That's the best part.
I hate the falling feeling, and every time we fall, I have to breathe. This is why I passed out on Tower of Terror, because I hate the falling feeling. And then the Fury 325, it was CJ on the end, me, Hayden, and his girlfriend Morgan, because Morgan and CJ are like, whatever, if it's our time to go, it's our time to go. And she was like, I'll ride on the edge. And so she was on the outside, and Hayden and I were in the center, and this was the only ride when they were buckling us. And I was like, I want off. I don't like it. I don't want it. I hate this. I regret this. I regret this. And then CJ was like, I hate that you regret it while we're getting buckled. I was like, I can't get off now, can I? And you would just like click to the top. And there were 4 dramatic falls in that stupid ride. And every time I would be like, and the thing is, I'm just like arms locked, white knuckled. And CJ thought the entire time that the screaming was coming from me, like meaning that I thought
someone was having a phenomenal time next to me, and I thought it was her because my hands are up the entire time. I am literally having the time of my life. Ask anyone that's ever gone to an amusement park with me. My hands do not
Even
come
on that
down.
Stupid mouse one that's like for kids. He's like,
I don't care. My hands are up. So I'm screaming. I'm having a great time. I'm thinking the screaming coming from my left is her. It was not.
There was no screaming coming. I was like holding my breath the entire time. And every time we fall, I can feel it now. It makes me sick. Every time we fall, I had to breathe out, and I needed someone to scream. So thankfully, 3 of the 4 falls, Morgan, Hayden, and CJ were screaming. I was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm just floating in abyss. The last fall, no one screamed, because they were all out of air. So I thought I was losing it. I like almost just had like a mental crash and I almost passed out because I felt like I was just falling forever because I couldn't hear any like earthly things.
Here's my theory, because there's no way that I wasn't screaming. I was definitely screaming. I think you did pass out for a second.
I don't know. But as soon as I did not scream at all. I was like literally like so tight. And at the end of it, like I put my head on the seat when we came to an end. And they were curse words.
She said some bad words.
I was like, that was the worst time of my entire life. I am so mad at this bleepity bleepity thing. I'm so bleeping mad that I'm mad at this bleepity bleepity thing.
Did you ride anything after that? I feel like
no.
Yeah, I think that was it. I
got Dippin' Dots.
I think that was it. Like we did that one again with some other friends that came, and Cassie legit, and we were in line for like an hour and a half, and Cassie was like perfectly fine.
I was willing to sit on the ground with the scary costume actors to not ride that ride again. And they kept coming at me with stupid things and throwing fire rocks at me. But I was willing to do that instead of ride that stupid ride again.
That's hilarious to me. All right, well, that's October.
Okay, sorry. That was just a highlight.
All right, November, our first states game. Oh, yeah, that's right. So
I'm learning football this year.
Cassie's learning football. I've been teaching her about the NFL and the NCAA and all this different stuff. And so she's really picking up on it. We're Eagles fans, so sorry if that makes you not want to watch this anymore. But by default, by marriage. Now you are an Eagles fan because you watch them play. You know that they are good sometimes. I know what a
sack is now.
She knows what a sack is. So same friends that we went to Carowinds with, they are like huge Stady fans. And so, we were like, why not? We don't really have an allegiance to any college teams right now. So went to our first states game. They were playing Wake Forest in Raleigh, which was super cool to go to, and Cassie's first football game ever.
Almost cried. It was so fun.
She got a hot dog. All she wanted was a hot dog. She literally said, I just needed a hot dog. And there was at one point where there was a chance that she wouldn't get a hot dog, and she was like pissed. pissed.
Sad. I was like, I want a $12 hot dog.
So she got her $12 hot dog. And then another big thing in November was we had our first original show here in town at a previously mentioned venue, Live at Ted's.
Woo!
Shout out Live at Ted's. They are awesome.
Good. When we were in Raleigh with Austin Giorgio, we met a friend of his who was also on The Voice, same season as him. His name is Jaron Strom.
Shout out Jaron Strom.
Jaron Strom. We were like, want to work together sometime? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then when we were planning our show at Live at Ted's, like, hey, Jaron, you want to come be our opener and our guest? So he was our opener, and that was super fun. He brought his beautiful wife,
extremely
Kendall,
talented dude, Kendall. Yeah, shout out Kendall.
And she is a dancer for some basketball team that
Charlotte
I'm not
Hornets.
really good. What is it?
Charlotte Hornets.
Hornets. Didn't know that was okay. Yeah, so she dances for that. And super nice people, and that was really fun. But
go check Jaron out. We're gonna be writing together with him.
Such a good
soon. Very
singer,
good vocalist,
artist,
really cool dude. And then I smoked my first turkey in November for Thanksgiving, which was terrifying, but it was, really easy to do.
I'm not a turkey girl. I do not like turkey, but man, I ate both of those turkey legs. Not in the same day, but
yeah, you spread those turkey legs out for like almost close to a week. Yeah,
I got like a whole week's worth of meals from those.
It was
turkey
a very,
legs.
very good turkey. Her mom came in. Her mom normally comes into town for Thanksgiving, and then we go home for Christmas. But my brother gave me a smoker, and so I kind of made the promise that I was going to smoke my first turkey for Thanksgiving, which is a bold move when you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And so I told her mom, I was like, we might want to get a second turkey just in case. And her mom, love her to death. She's like, nope, I trust you. It's going to be fine.
She's like, you don't need another one.
So we did it, and it worked out really well. Everyone liked it. Everyone was pretty happy. I feel like an adult. I'm turning 30 this year, so I feel like
I told mom, I was like, secretly, everyone knows ham is better anyway, so if he butchers it, it's okay. But then it was actually really, really good, and it was like nice and crispy.
And we had ham for Christmas.
For Christmas.
So it worked out.
The turkey was better than the ham.
And December, Cassie started a new job. She is now a paralegal instead of a paralegal because they got her badge wrong. But she's working for a law firm here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And we went home for the holidays. We spent a week, got to snowboard. Cassie was going to snowboard. Our non-adrenaline junkie was going to try.
Be a fun person.
It was like negative 20 degrees, and that is a big no for Cassie. But me, my brother and sister-in-law, and my other brother, Dylan, shout out Dylan, we all went to Wisp up in Deep Creek, Maryland, and did some snowboarding, which was a lot of fun.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to be fun. He's been wanting me to try snowboarding for 4 years, and I'm like, I was like, I'm going to try this year. And then it was literally like 20 degrees. And I was like on a mountain plus moving fast. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I stayed home with the baby.
The feel like was actually way worse.
Yeah, so we did not do that. I'll try again next year. And then we got our new kitty,
Mika, which if she was able to be caught right now, we would show you her. But she's quick, small, and she's fighting with our other cat, Mello. So now we've got Mello and Mika Grae. Mello Bean Grae and Mika May Grae. So.
Sorry, Mello got like such a dumb middle name.
I love Mello Bean.
Mello Bean. Mika. Anyway,
they're around somewhere.
So moving forward real quick, we're pretty good on time actually. Just let's talk about things that we're looking forward to in the new year. Like what are some goals, not even like necessarily like resolutions or anything, but just like maybe different mindset changes or things that we want to approach differently this year.
I think, and I kind of chose this word without consulting with you first.
Okay.
But it's really simple. I feel like the word for me and what I think, could apply to the Graes and Grae Images and Cassidy Designs and all the stuff that we're doing, growth. I feel like growth, what?
Okay, keep going.
I feel like growth is a good word to just basically encompass all the things we want to accomplish this year.
Yeah.
We've talked about writing with other artists. We've talked about collaborating with other artists. We've talked about growing the businesses and potentially figuring out ways to grow, our fan bases and things like that. So I feel like growth being the word, and then kind of like taking that word and backing that out to, all right, what do we need to do each month to contribute to the growth that we want to see this time next year.
Well, I love that because my word that I had, and I don't really do a word normally, but I was like, I'm going to do a word this year.
She doesn't do words.
And my word for myself, and I think like us, was transform.
I like that.
So yeah, because there's things in my personal life and my like individual self that I want to work on, and things for the Graes and for an artist and just like a wife and cat mom, things that I want to like transform. And like I want to be like, I think the word for the following year is going to be vibrant, but like, and not that it has to be that, but like the evolution is like transforming first and like getting into that different stage and then like owning it in a vibrant way. And so
you got really quiet.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like had to think that through.
I was like looking at the waveforms. I was like, is that getting picked up?
No. So yeah, like just transforming and then like doing it vibrantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that actually. And I feel like those words go hand in hand. Obviously with growth, you will transform into a better version of yourself. And I think, you know, with last year, like we talked about, all the good, all the bad, you know, I was let go from my job, you know, you were let go from your job, you know, two jobs that we had that were really kind of helping us out with our income and with our bills and stuff like that. We lost those jobs, and it really forced us to, number one, think outside of the box. And it really kind of forced us to pre-grow kind of leading into this new year. It forced us to like really think about, all right, number one, what's important? What are we trying to accomplish? I think it really helped us set in, what do we want to do? We had a really honest conversation. You know, the Graes, any musician that tells you that, you know, the music industry is easy, they're lying to you.
Or they're born into it.
Or, well, even that. I mean, I know people that are born into it. I don't think it's easy for anyone. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Justin Bieber has some of the worst days. Like it's not easy for anyone. And so when you're trying to get into this world and you're really trying to make a career out of it, Cassie mentioned it in an episode previously, like we hear more no's than anything. And a lot of times we hear more no's, but we hear even more nothings. Like there's nothing that we hear. Like we reach out to people and then there's just there's just silence.
I think I'd rather hear the no.
I think I'd rather hear the no as well. And I feel like at the end of the day, like kind of going back to what I was saying, with what we had a lot of negative moments kind of kick us in the face in 2022. And it really forced us to think outside the box, to be able to take that no or that, you know, that blunt force trauma to the face and like use that to catapult us or to motivate us into what we needed to do. Like Grae Images is only thriving because me getting kicked in the face motivated me to make this work. And so I think, you know, as long as we're going into 2023 with that same mentality where it's like, you know, being consistent and posting these, you guys are going to hold us accountable to this as well. Posting these every single Tuesday, and just kind of keeping that consistency going. Writing, you know, we've got a goal to write an album this year. Whether we release it this year or not, we want to write an album. We want to write 30 or 40 songs and pick, you know, 8 to 10 of them to be able to record and put on an album.
I was going to say, I think moving forward, like good habits for implementing is like having a schedule. We realize that we need to like actually carve out time for rehearsals and for writing and for getting great content done. So that's something that we're working on moving forward. And I think like a goal for me this year is also just to learn to like, it's just so hard to say, but like be chiller. Cause I'm such a planner.
Be more chill.
Yeah, be more chill. Which I'm saying it not, I'm sorry. I wasn't saying it's hard to say in like grammar, but like, cause I know it's a big change for me. I'm such a planner, but I also want to enjoy more of my life and what I'm doing because so much of it's methodical. Mm-hmm. And I know part of that's probably like the female brain, but also part of it is my brain where I'm constantly like waking up and like, okay, what do I need to pack for lunch? What do I need to do? What do I need to wear for this? And then, okay, I gotta go do my job for 10 hours. And I come home and like, okay, did anyone think about dinner? Okay, gotta go to dinner. Also have a handwriting order I need to do. And I also didn't go to the gym today. And then also need to think about this thing for the Graes. And that's just constantly how my mind is.
Lord have mercy. I would be stressed too.
I know. And then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to wash the dishes or something like that.
Good
and it's
God.
like, and it's a lot. And I know it, like, it's just the, lack of better words, season that we're in right now. Because CJ's working his tail off too. It's not like he doesn't do anything. He's sitting in his office like editing for 15 hours of the waking day. So it's just trying to enjoy life a little bit more. And also, I don't know, I think I also want to try to do better at like carving out time for us to enjoy life.
One thing that you started doing that I'm really proud of you is she started reading. Now, for those of you who know us well,
I'm not a reader.
Academia is not our strong suit. And, you know, we're not readers. It's funny. It's a running joke now with our family. Cassie's mom is always recommending like devotionals for us to read and like books for us to read and stuff like that. And we just look at her and we're like, you know we
don't read.
But Cassie actually started reading a book and, you know, it's really cool. Last night I was down here. I think I was, Xbox. No, I actually wasn't last night. I was working on something and I came upstairs and her lamp is on. Usually when I go upstairs, she's out like a light. And I go up, her lamp's on. She's kind of looking down and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm reading. And I was like, holy crap. And it almost like made me feel, because I just got into bed and went to sleep. And I was like, as I'm sleeping, I was like, I probably should have read something. But it's cool to see that.
Because I just realized a lot of our life, we either turn it into a business or a to-do list. And there's not much in my life. I know this. Like, and I kind of got sad about it. I don't do anything for me, really.
Which that frustrates me a lot. Like the fact that you don't do anything for yourself. I've been like, we have these conversations a lot where I'm like, what do you find fun? What do you like? Because we do a lot of things. We go and play golf together. That's something I like to do. We go to movies. I don't know if you went to movies as much when you were single.
No, I never went to the movies.
And that's something I like to do.
Ever before you.
And so there's a lot of things that I like to do. And then like she's kind of adopted those same things. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I love that you're learning to like the things that I would do. I was like, what do you like to do? And
it's just hard because a lot of things I do like to do, like I've turned into kind of like a side hustle. Like art is more, I enjoy it, but it's not like my escape where I can be mindless because I do a lot of custom orders and I do a lot of like house portraits, and you can't really be mindless when you're doing portraits or anything like that. And then, music used to be, it is therapeutic, but it's also in a different way now because we're writing with an intentional goal. Yeah. And just like you, photography used to be a hobby. Now it's a business. And I'm like, I don't have anything. And it's like, girls out there, they probably hear me like, you can't go pamper yourself at like a nail salon like one time because you either have to keep getting your nails filled, which is like now $80 a fill, or you just let them grow out and it's like, okay, that was a waste of money. But then also I don't do that anyway because I'm trying to be a musician and I can't have long nails anyway. So, or like you can't just go like pamper yourself at a hair salon because that's on average like $200 down here. So it's like,
this is a cool opportunity. If anyone's made it this far into the podcast, if there are some, and if, preferably if you're a female and there's things that you enjoy doing that aren't necessarily things like that are pampering and things like that, I would challenge you guys to...
Let me know what to do as a hobby when I have any
post them in the
space,
comments or...
Because I go to the gym and I'm starting to read now, but like...
Yeah. So gym and reading are already on her list. So other things, let's see what you guys can come up with.
I used to love cooking, but now at this point it's like, I think it'll come back again later, but right now it's just a means to an end, and I do it because we need to eat.
For me, it's like she said, photography was a hobby and was like something that I kind of escaped to do. Now it's my full-time job. And so I've never been a gamer. I've never been one to be like, I'm going to go play video games. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that anyone that does it is bad, but like, or it's like a negative thing. I've started playing Call of Duty and Madden because I'm like, all right, I need something that's not work to kind of escape into, that's kind of mindless. And Cassie made a joke. She goes, I've started getting decently good at Call of Duty. And she said, if you somehow make this a job, I will kill you.
Make it a business.
Yeah. So I'm not, obviously that's kind of like my escape, that golf, the gym.
Yeah. And I think we also need to like do better at like carving out time to just date each other.
Oh yeah.
We do a lot of, and we used to do it a lot at the beginning of marriage, but this year just a lot happened.
Yeah.
Where we don't have as many like fun date nights, or like every date that we do have turned into some type of business meeting, which tough. I also love, but also like we just need to stop and have a little bit more fun together too.
Yeah, we were doing a really good job when we first got married of like setting out time and everything like that. And she's right. We'll go on walks and like we'll be just talking about life and everything like that. And somehow it always turns back into like vision planning for the next year for, the Graes or Grae images or something like that.
Yeah.
So, for couples that are working together, we would also love to hear your tips and tricks for separating. Cause I also do love the dynamic that we have. Like, I'll come downstairs to be cooking dinner and I'll be cooking breakfast and Cassie's on the piano and I'm like, I love that melody. And then, breakfast is burning on the stove or we're writing a fire song. So it's like,
literally the other night we talked about music so long and I had a pot of water boiling and like the water just boiled out of it. And I was like, okay, it's gone.
It happens. But all in all, so let's go ahead and wrap up. I feel like all in all, last year was fun.
Last year was a lot of fun.
It was tough in a lot of different areas, but I feel like we did find that pre-growth to kind of lead us into this year.
Oh yeah, especially. Yeah. Like we are now in a place that like I think the place that we're at now, things had to be forced to us or else we wouldn't have made those choices ourselves.
Yeah. So shout out to getting let go in life. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because being an employee of yourself is a place that we need to be, I think, for our long-term goal. Yeah. And so that's a good kick in the booty end
and really seeing like what it takes, because that's the one thing with Grae Images. Anyone who's an entrepreneur or running their own thing, the struggle's real. It could be Sunday and you have zero work for the week and you're panicking because you see those bills starting to pile up and you're like, what's going to happen? And then Monday morning you're completely booked. And sometimes you're not, and you got to figure it out.
Yes. So 2 questions and this is how I'll wrap it up.
Okay,
what is one big lesson, like your big lesson from 2022?
Big lesson from 2022, I would probably say if things that seem truly horrible or bad or just like, utterly shocking or anything like that. It's not always bad as it seems.
Yeah. The initial blow is hard.
The initial blow is tough. Like, we were going to buy a house. We were lined up to do a lot of different things, and then losing the jobs. That initial blow was rough. But when you really take a second to really look at, you know, what fruit was kind of, you know, brought out of that initial blow, you start to realize that saying is cliche and people don't like it, but everything does happen for a reason. I think things that are bad are not always as bad as they may seem, and you might just need to give it a little bit of time to really blossom into why that thing happened.
Yeah.
So I think that's number one for me. What about you?
It's kind of parallel, honestly. I think. Sorry.
She gets so quiet.
It's so crazy because I was thinking, like, I feel like my lesson's kind of the same. Where, like, there's a lot of crappy things in life, like, very so true, but also. And it's something that I'm trying to take more into 2023 is like my perspective on it, and like just learning, like I want to be a funner person, like a more fun person. And
her grammar's just on point today, guys.
It's so on point. Like I just want to be like, you know what? I think I walked into like adulthood thinking like I had to have this plan of like what was going to happen. And that fights with my reality because it's not that, but like what I have is so beautiful right now.
Yeah.
And learning to just like find the fun in it and find the purpose in it. And, you know, maybe it's good we didn't buy a house. Maybe it's good that we're not committed to a place here, because you never know where music's going to lead us.
That's true.
In the next 6 months. And so, like, really just learning to enjoy it and make the best out of it. But then that then leads into my final question, which is what is going to be, maybe not a mantra, but like what is like an intentional thought that you're having for 2023?
I mean, I'm just going to go back to growth. I think my thought is, do the most amount of growing this year that makes 2024 our year. Like I'm not going to go into this year and be like, this is our year. You know, people do that every year, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I feel like you go into that with the mindset and you really hold on to that. You stick to your plan and whatnot. But I feel like I want to do so much, and I always want to be growing. So that doesn't mean that after this year I stop growing, I stop learning.
Right.
You know, no. I feel like I want to grow so much this year that 2024 is our year. So like we go into 2024 so well equipped.
Yeah.
That we are able to make some of the moves that we've been wanting to make. You know, we said when we got married, we wanted to wait like 5 years before we at least started trying to have kids. And like, we're getting close to that point. And I feel like going into 2024 gives us that nice buffer to really like pursue this thing hard, you know. And I really do believe that if we really put our heads down and we stay consistent, and kind of, break that curse of being inconsistent. I think that we can do some really cool.
Curse.
Yeah, I think we can do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a really good conversation.
Yeah.
I really appreciate talking with you. Same time next week.
Let me say my thing for 2023.
Okay, go ahead.
So mine's going to be like facing my inner demons, because I know that like for the growth that I have in mind, like I always have this vision of growth in my head, but then there's so many things that stop me, and it seems to be the same thing. Like one being like, okay, I don't have a hobby. Why don't I have a hobby? Like, am I too stressed? Am I not like allowing myself to enjoy life? Like, what do I need to do that like, it's okay for me to not always think, and that's a safe space too. But then also like with music, like I'll be the first to admit that I don't always have a good attitude when we do music.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
And it's because I have this like perfectionist mindset, or I have this like not permission to be bad mindset on me, which is just from myself. And then, but like also realizing that like I need to face those so that I can like conquer like a healthier, happier life, because like I don't want to always feel intimidated by music. Yeah. Because to be honest, I feel intimidated by music every single time we do it. Like just because we're doing this does not mean that I'm confident. Like I'm only 2 years in, and I feel like half the time like music owns me and I don't own my music.
It's hard to watch, and we're getting kind of real, and we'll wrap it up here in a little bit, because I know we're kind of running a little bit longer than we tend to like, but
like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's hard for me to, I mean, this has been a really good conversation. I hope you guys are enjoying listening to this if you've made it this far, but I think it's difficult for me, because obviously I've been doing this I've been doing music. I've been playing in bands and like pursuing music since I was like 12, 13 years old. And I'm turning 30 soon. So that's a lot of years of doing this, being in front of crowds, really honing in on my craft. Now, to be completely fair, you know, in the 10, 15 years I've been doing this, I just got decently good like a year ago. So it's not like I've always been, you know, a decent musician or anything like that. But it is difficult to watch you allow music to control you the way it does, because I've always just been a advocate for my buddy Nate. Shout out Nate, says it all the time. You spend 10 to 15 minutes a day focusing on something you want to get good at. There's no way that you're not going to get good. And so, there are times when she mentioned her attitude before. I was going to bring that up, but you did. There's times where she'll see me like we're getting ready to go to bed or we're getting ready to do something or do chores or something like that. And I pick up the guitar and she used to get so upset. Like, why?
I would get upset because it was like, as we're going to bed, as we're walking out the door to go to places
we're
that we're already late for.
But it's like inspiration would hit me. And it got to the point where I was like afraid. Like I'd be like, there's something in my head, and I'd be reaching for the guitar.
I'm like, Shima, we are eating dinner.
Can she see me? But I think she's starting to understand that like I do that because I'm really trying to like let that out whenever it hits me. Like people talk about having a notepad or like your iPhone notes like accessible, so when you have an idea, you can quickly jot it down or voice memo it or whatever. And so the 2 songs that it's January 7th. And we've written 2 songs, and I've got a third one that I'm kind of brewing up right now. And it's like I get those ideas, and in the spirit of growth, anytime I get that idea, I'm pulling out my phone, I'm recording it, I'm picking up the guitar. And I think she's starting to get that now. I bought her a ukulele for Christmas, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. And, she's picking that ukulele up all the time, it's sitting right there actually. And she'll, play a couple tunes. We got a piano. She's playing on the piano a lot more. So I think she's starting to get to that point, and I can hear her singing through the house. We've got videos where I'm like videotaping the cats, and you can hear her in the background singing, and it sounds beautiful. And I'm like, she's starting to like get the fact that she controls her voice. She controls music. Music doesn't control her.
Yeah.
And I say that kind of loosely because there are certain situations where I do allow music to kind of take control because I think but that's a whole different conversation. But
for me, it's just like overall, like setting myself free because I'm a creative, but I've always been like a rule following creative. So I've never felt fully free in what I'm creating.
Yeah. You gotta break the rules.
I know I've always done it with like a expectation or desire for it to be perfect or for people to love it or for it to be standard. And then like I've just my entire life, my creativity has felt kind of trapped.
Yeah.
In whether it's just like people's feedback or expectations. And so just really wanted to break free of that so that like I'm actually free, actually having a lot more fun than I am currently having. I'm having fun, but like I know it's not my most fun that I could have.
Yeah. So, and I also, something you said that just kind of hit me, the whole like not following the rules. I feel like, not to kind of bring this back to our career and everything like that. I feel like, the popularity that we're wanting to have, and I say that loosely as well, because we're not trying to be like famous or popular. We're just wanting people to listen to our music. We learned that our music is for a specific targeted audience. And so like,
very true.
We could easily start writing pop songs that sound like Justin Bieber and Dua Lipa and, Julia Michaels and all these different artists and be popular and, become TikTok famous and all that other stuff. But we realize that we make music that not a lot of people truly vibe with. It's folk. It's real. It's earthy. It's and there are a specific type of person niche. Yeah, it's a specific niche. It's a specific type of person that enjoys that type of music. And so being okay with breaking the rules. We make music a lot where we send it to our friends, and we've got a lot of talented friends, and they'll give us their feedback. And a lot of times we have to kind of take the feedback with a grain of salt because it's like, okay, if we do that, we're kind of dragging ourselves back into fitting into a certain box that makes sense. And when we made that creative decision, it may have been a decision that we intentionally wanted to break that rule.
Yeah.
And it may not be for everyone. And so, that's just some encouragement there for you and for anyone who's really wanting to pursue music. But that is a good one. I'm really glad that you are kind of fighting those demons and getting after it. But awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, type in pineapples into the chat. We would love to see who made it to the end. But yeah, we, again, every Tuesday, we're going to be holding ourselves accountable for posting a new episode. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye. Say, I'm Mika.
That's Mika.
And that's Mello.
This is Mello.
Friends. Pending.
They're still learning how to get along.
Yay. Good Bubba. Look. Wait, no, say hi to your brother. Say hi to your brother. Say hey yo. Ooh. Oh.
He doesn't like that very much.
You goober.
Cool.